What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and happy anniversary to the channel. Many of you definitely are going to ask, about the here's and there's. Don't worry, I have those videos already posted. So if you would like to take a look at those videos, they're already up on the channel, and I highly recommend them. But we're here for Harpie. And of course, Harpie is always going to be 100% the deck that fuels this channel. And I really have like a basis of like the new era of Harpie that I'm waiting for whenever Konami wants to just release the new cards, if we ever get new cards. So for right now, we're very much on the casual level of the game, which is perfectly fine. Enjoy being on the casual level, guys. And there are still other retro formats and even tournaments for retro formats that include Harpie. This is because I heard hat format is doing extremely well. That's why I did the hat video last time for Harpie. But this time, I'm going strictly into the modern era to give, the modern players some more oomph, some more things to enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And with that said, I'm going to go ahead and go into the deck profile. So I'm going to start off with my monster lineup, which is 3 copies of Harpie Channeler. Then that's followed up by 3 copies of Harpie Perfumer. And then that's followed up by 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1. From there, I'm running 2 copies of Harpie's Pet Dragon Fierce on Fire, with 2 copies of Harpie Oracle, 2 copies of Harpie Harpist, and 1 copy of Harpie Lady Sisters. And from there, I'm running 3 copies of Ash Blossom in Joyous Spring. So that rounds out my monster lineup. For my spells, I'm running 3 copies of Hysteric Sign. That's followed up by 3 copies of Elegant Ingetus. Then 1 Harpie's Feather Duster, 1 Harpie's Feather Rest, 1 Harpie's Hunting Ground, 2 Triple Tactics Talent, and 2 Triple Tactics Stress to round out my spell lineup. We're now going to go ahead and go into the traps, where I am running a set of Infinity Impermeance, a set of Harpie's Featherstorm, and of course 2 copies of Hysteric Party. I almost said Harpie Party. I mean, it technically is Harpie Party. Alright, and then that is it for all of the traps, and that's a total of 40 cards in the main. For my extra deck, which is a total of 15, I'm running 2 copies of Cyber / Harpie Lady, 1 copy of Harpie Conductor, 1 copy of Winnie the Wind Charmer Verdant, 1 copy of Great Fly, 1 copy of this is SP Little Knight. This is IP Masquerena. And then 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn with 1 copy of Decode Talker. From there, I'm running 1 copy of Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon, 1 Lightning Chidori, 1 Ice Beast Zero Find, 1 Ray Raptor Arsenal Falcon, 1 Mecha Phantom Beast Draco Sack, and 1 copy of Divine Arsenal Double Azus Sky Thunder. If I had a Typhoon, which would be included in this, I'd run a Typhoon. I don't know where I would fit my Typhoon, but he'd be in the deck. So, if so, probably get rid of the Great Fly. But I'm still kind of iffy on that too, because I'll talk about that when I get the extra deck. But for the most part, this is just what I currently have for the main stuff for modern format. It's basically just trying to use as much card material as you can for Harpie, because there are a lot of big hits because of the Forbidden Limited list that do hinder the Harpie play. We don't have Appaloosa, so we don't have a way to Omni Negate. We don't have we don't have some more Bird of Sovereignty because, well, it was way too good for Bird Up, but not too good for OCG or Masterful. And with a lot of things that are still going on in the game, it's very hard to really depict what structure of build Harpies have, because we're not a competitive deck anymore. We're not. We haven't been for years. And it's okay to say that, because the one thing about Harpies is that we really rock in the casual scene on a lot of bases, because we have a lot of modern stuff that's still, in the game. And it's still a really good poi, if anything. And I think, honestly, if we get new support in the TCG and OCG, I think definitely would like to know some changes or some things that I like to see. I actually do want to make a video on that too, just to talk about a lot of the changes I would love for a newer Harpie, for new Harpie cards, and get that video together. But for right now, it's time to talk about what the deck I have currently going in. So it starts off with the three us. We have 3 Chandler, 3 Perfumer, and 3 Harpie Lady 1. So I'll start off with Harpie Lady 1. I know most people um, in recent videos, they're running Cyber Harpie Lady, which is perfectly fine. I've seen some videos that are running Harpie Lady herself, the vanilla. And the reason for that is because there's this newer archetype. I think they're called the Primals. I'm sorry if I get the name wrong because I really have been just doing other things right now. So they're an archetype that does focus on normal monsters and assisting normal monsters. It's kind of one of those ways where, archetypes do try to fit into normal monsters to not be such a brick issue, or normal monsters get a ton of support to try to fit them into the equation so that they aren't left behind. It's a really good setup. I've seen maybe 1 or 2 videos with them, but a lot of their cards are going up because there are a lot of other archetypes that are actually benefiting from that support as well. And I do like the inclusion that Harpies give with that additional stuff, because Harpies do tend to have a good mix when you're mixing Dragon, winged beast, hell, even the beast family when people were mixing in Tri-Brigade. So it's definitely a lot of things you can easily do with it. But for this build, I'm just particularly just honing in on Harpie Lady 1 because her additional 300 attack that she gives to the winged monsters on the board. Cyber Harpie, of course, is a good option just as a beat stick, but the beat stick thing is kind of just another insight of how she gets over stuff like Effect Veiler, because her effect is not an effect, it's a condition. That's the same thing with Harpie Ladies 1, 2, and 3. They have effects, but their condition is that they're always Harpie Lady. So Elegant Egotist stuff will still work because they're always Harpie Lady. Also, take a look at one of the 2009 deck lists where they used Cyber Harpie Lady and Harpie Queen because they were always hit because of the Harpie Lady situation. And Skill Drain. So Harpie Perfumer, she and Harpie Channeler are definitely those girls that are the key access points of the deck. Getting additional pieces either onto the field or into your hand so that you can build either into a strong Link climb, or you can set up for a Great Exceed summon. With Harpie Perfumer, she adds spells and traps to specifically list Harpie Lady Sisters in their text from your deck to your hand. In addition to that, sorry, because I didn't realize these were like offering. But in addition to that, Harpie Perfumer can gain an additional card if you have a level 5 or higher monster. The level 5 and higher monster requirements for her and Oracle definitely have their 50-50s of yay and nay, but it's basically just to feed off of the fact that there were a lot of monsters in the Harpie archetype that, even though we don't use them, they were trying to give them some relevant play. Primarily Harpie Lady Sisters, and I'll talk about Sisters in a moment. But the benefits to this is that you're getting 2 searches out of 1, but you still need that level 5 or higher Harpie monster to do such. The other additional thing about it is that Harpie Perfumer is still a really good target for Harpie Channeler, so when you're discarding cards, Harpies to summon from Harpie monsters from the deck, you can always get Harpie Perfumer, and then she can go get your Elegant Egotist. And then that can lead into more plays, especially when you want to go to Phantasmal Dragon. Speaking of Harpie Channeler, love her. She's my favorite Harpie. She is pretty much Harpie Summoner Monk. She discards a Harpie card from your hand, so summons a Harpie monster from the deck. She can't get a copy of herself, which is perfectly fine, because that has just been crazy, just like Summoner Monk. And the other thing about Harpie Channeler is her ability to change her level from 4 to 7 if you control a Dragon-type monster. This opens up the playing field for all those rank 7s that are in a lot of Harpie extra decks as well. Some I'm even running in my own. So it's definitely the big lineup that I have here in terms of the 3s. Now we're going to go on into the number 2s. We have Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire, Harpie Oracle, and Harpie Harpist. Now the crazy thing about Harpie Oracle and Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire is they kind of work similar to each other and actually play off of each other really well. Harpie Oracle can be special summoned from your hand if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, while Harpie's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fire can also be special summoned from your hand while you control a level 6 or lower wind monster. So if you already have a Harpie that's already established on the board, you can special summon Harpie's Pet Dragon Fearsome Fire, and if you happen to have Oracle in your hand, then you can special summon her, because Dragon is a level 7, and she's a level 4. So this really coincides well with their mechanics. And then you can do, massive link plays, or you can exceed, or, synchro and do all the crazy shenanigans. I've done a lot of combos between this fearsome dragon and Oracle, in terms of the different ways to extend the game. And especially getting extenders to the field. It's like a lot of people said, we wish we had just a cyber dragon for Harpie monsters, so that we can easily just play them on the board, and then we can counteract all the different summons as well, to get more extensions to it. Harpie Harpess. Now she ties in one Harpie's pet dragon, FFB, because of the fact that, the ability that FFB has is that when it's sent from the field to the grave, you can send one winged beast monster from your deck to the grave, which will trigger Harpie Harpess, who at the end of the turn in which she was sent to the graveyard, and she's in there because she's sent to the grave, you're able to add a level 4 winged beast monster with 1500 or less attack, meaning you can get monsters like Harpie Oracle, Channeler, or Perfumer. And primarily you want to either get Channeler or Perfumer, because those are going to be the two big targets that you're going to be using in your deck. So Harpie definitely helps with that. She's a great discard target for stuff like Party and Harpie Channeler, and she's set at the graveyard for Harpie Featherest as well. So those are the two left. Then I'm going to move on to my one of, and that is Harpie Lady Sisters. Now, Harpie Lady Sisters is here simply because of the fact that I needed a target for Elegant Egotist. There's not that many, and because of how the Harpie deck itself is. Yes, we know about wanting to retrain the Sisters. It's nothing new. But Sisters themselves only really fit into that other target for Elegant Egotist to make the combos extend. You have the abilities of both Harpie Perfumer and Oracle, and even FFB, that help out as well for the extensions and even the additional searches. Well, Harpie Lady Sisters, yes, it's technically one of the Garnets of the Harpie archetype, the other one being the original dragon. It's still widely played. It's just that, yeah, we would like to retrain. And we know, guys, it's gonna come. Just focus. We'll be alright. Now, in addition to that, let's go into the one hand trap that I'm running in the deck, and that's Ash Blossom Enjoys Spring. There are a lot of hand traps that Harpies can play. Some are easier to afford than others. We're looking at you, Fluos. But, in the time of need, you just use what you have. And Ash is a great one. If you have Droll Lockbird or DD Crows, those are exceptional ones as well. DD Crow because of the typing, and Droll Lockbird because of the attributes, if you want to go in that route. Flows, if you have $100+, and I know Flows is going to be declining shortly, thanks to the reprint that is eventually coming to the TCG, so I cannot wait for that reprint, because I will be getting some. Moving on into the spells, Hysteric Sign and Elegant Egotist. We had to talk about this duo because Elegant Egotist and Hysteric Sign worked hand in hand. You activate your Hysteric Sign to search for Elegant Egotist. Then be able to activate Egotist while you have a Harpie Lady on the field to search some Harpie Lady Sisters from the deck. Now, in conjunction with this, you also get his Elegant Egotist from the grave, which is great as well because you can do an extend combo. So say you have an ego in your hand and you draw into a sign, you can play your first ego, activate it, go get your Harpie Lady or Sisters, and then play ego again and get the other ones onto the board. This way you can stack up the number of monsters for material. This is why a lot of Harpie players love Elegant Egotist, because you got so many ways to pop it onto the field. Now, I'm not running two of it because this is a moment in time where if we want more extensions, we got to use what we can, and I love the fact that Elegant Egotist isn't hit like to one or anything, or has that hard once per turn on it. Now, Hysteric Sign does have hard once per turn on it. That's because its secondary effect is one of the best secondary effects for the Harpie archetype, which is if this card is sent from the hand or field to the grave, at the end of the turn, you can add up to 3 cards with Harpie in its name from your deck to your hand that are different from each other, which is perfectly fine because that allows you to search for Featherstorm, Channeler, Dancers, all of those range of cards that you can get thanks to Hysteric Sign. It's probably still one of my favorites in the lineup of things that goes on with the Harpie archetype. And yeah, I still love it even to this day. If they ever did make some more support, I hope it's similar to this in Alluring Mirror Split, which is not in the deck list at this time, where you can pop your back row and then gain benefits from popping that back row. Alright, moving on from there. We have the one of the Harpie cards. Harpie's Feather Duster, because it's limited. And even though there's not that many spells and traps being played, of course, it's Harpie. Why are you not playing Harpie's Feather Duster? Next up is Harpie's Feather Rest, which is acts like a mini pot of avarice to retrieve a lot of your targets back into your deck so you can shuffle them in and draw a card. You draw an additional one if you have a level 5 or higher Harpie monster present. And the most part about Harpie's Feather Storm is just draw power. It's a really good search off of Sign. It's a good search off of Perfumer. You can get it from Oracle's Effect. So you have a lot of ways to play around it. And if you don't want to toy around with running into things, Harpie's Hunting Ground. It's an additional buff to your Winged Beast monsters is great. But the benefits to this is when your Harpie Lady or Sisters is normal special summon, the conductor of the summon can select a card on the field and destroy it. It doesn't seem like much, but when you want to pop singular things, you don't want to do a massive removal with Duster. Harpie's Hunting Ground definitely comes into that fray. For the other cards, we have the Triple Tactics Talent and the Triple Tactics Thrust. I think this is the first time Triple Tactics Thrust is making an appearance on my channel. If not, I think that's due to our boys from Fluanderies. But Triple Tactics Talent basically has 3 effects, and they activate when your opponent activates a monster effect during your main phase, where you can either Pot of Greed, you can Forceful Sentry, or you can Change of Heart. Each of these abilities are really, really good, and I have to honestly say, assess your situation before you play the tactics, or know what you're going to get yourself into. Now, I'm not going to say drawing is going to be beneficial, but do assess things, because that's one of the biggest tactics you can do with a card like Triple Tactics Talent, is making sure that you assess the situation and go from there. Similar to Triple Tactics Thrust, but Thrust has its major ability to itself, where yes, we can go get Harpie's Featherstorm with this card. Even better, if our opponent controls a monster, we can add it to our hand instead, so we don't have to go through the whole situation of setting it and having to not be able to activate it till later on. And I think this is honestly still a great card to play in decks that have those types of cards that you want to get too fast without happening to rush into it. And plus, both of these cards are just amazing because opponent's monsters are going to be played during your turn. Stuff like Ash Blossom, Effect Veiler, Nibiru, and many others in that lineup of hand traps. So you take your advances of when they come. Alright, from there, that is all of my spells. And going into my traps, I have the Infinity Impermanence, which is basically Effect Veiler in monster in trap form. I wanted to do some monster bases, but I'm going to be very honest with you. I kind of just was like, nah, I'll just stick to this as it is. It's really easy to pick up. You can pick up commons and variations of them, and I do appreciate this card's help. We have Harpie's Featherstorm, of course, one of the most broken Harpie support cards in the game. You can activate this card from your hand if you have a Harpie monster on the field. It negates the activation of your opponent's monster effects until the end of the turn, which is great there. And if this card in your Southern Chakra zone is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can add Harpie's Feather Duster from your deck or grave to your hand. So retrieval on that with negation attached to it. Wonderful poise. And then we have Hysteric Party, which is just a massive special summon for the Harpie archetype. It's really good to get a flood of Harpies so you can Synchro, Exceed, Link, and all of that. And you have so many different targets you can get off of Party. Alright, with that in told, it is time to move on into the extra deck. For the most part, the extra deck are the choices of things that I've chosen to fit with the corresponding setup the deck itself already has. Yeah, Cyber/Harpie Lady, who is just as prone to being a subsequential boss monster. She can bounce cards when a spell trap or an effect targets on the field. She's Harpie Lady while she's on the field or in the graveyard, and she has one of the biggest hide stats in the game. For the Harpies. Also, to add to this, she can be special summoned by using a Harpie monster as a tuner. So you can synchro into an array of setups with Cyber/Harpie Lady. I've seen it in multiple decks as well. Then we have Harpie Conductor, who can just redirect the destruction to one of your spells and traps to protect your monsters. I really don't use the secondary effect, which is to bounce something when a Harpie monster is bounced, but if it ever does come to fruition, hey, it's still a really decent enough move. Waiting to laugh at Droll and Lockbird plays and instill the Droll so you can link climb. Great Fly to recover. monsters from your graveyard, but also be a power boost to your monsters that are on the field, and a decrease to Earth. Then we have SP Little Knight, who's just amazing. IP Masquerena, who can help you get into your other exceeds, your other Link monsters. Primarily Nightmare Unicorn for unicorns, discard and bounce. Then we have Access Kotaku to really finish things up. Harpie's Pet Phantasmal Dragon as a out to multiple things and protection in one. Also, just hell, if anything, a really good monster to sit on for a while if anything, needs to be protected. Lightning Chidori for its removal and bounce as well. Zero Fine for her massive negation. Ray Raptor Arsenal Falcon to pull out your monsters from the deck, especially your other Harpies, so that you can trigger off their abilities. I have used Arsenal Falcon here and there, and it's still a relatively good card. You know what else is relatively good? Mecha Fan Beast Draco Sack, because Draco Sack can make tokens, and you can link with those tokens and protect Draco Sack as well, and make more tokens later on. And then Zeus, just to pop on any of your synchro monsters, any of your seed monsters, and then just have a way to massively wipe the field. So that's pretty much it for my first deck profile of the year for the Harpie archetype. I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I did getting it together. I'll have another one for February, but it'll probably be later on. And I hope you guys enjoy the content that I am producing within these 15 years and more to come. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel, as it helps out tremendously. Hit the notification bell so you can be informed when I upload more content. And socials are in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and HBJ signing out. Take care.